Hey everyone, welcome again. I'm out here in the driveway working on the CJ5 and it's not a weekend yet, it's just a Wednesday night, so I'm not really sure I'm going to get a ton done tonight, but I thought what I'd do is I have the body pretty much ready to come off except for just the actual body mounts, and I'll be able to get those out and do the same thing I did with the CJ7 tub, which is kind of lift it up and make sure I didn't miss anything. So that's my plan tonight, is to start with that. And then I think I mentioned the other day, as I get moving along, I think what I'll do is I'll back the car out, and I've got my little kind of workbench, and I'll set it up and start kind of sanding down some of the keeper parts. I ordered a bunch of kind of professional grade primer and so forth from eastwood.com. So I've got some stuff coming in to start treating up some of this metal and getting it ready. And some of what I bought was the material to paint and rust proof and prep the frame. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting the frame exposed to the light of day so I can see what we got to work with there. I don't expect any problems, but I do expect some rust and a little bit of stuff that'll need some cleanup. But anyway, so let's tear into this. I'm going to pull the body mount bolts out, and that's pretty boring stuff. I'm just going to pull 4 or 5 bolts out of the bottom of each side. So I'm not going to bother you watching me do that, but I will get those out. Then I'll come back and I'll pick one side up and we'll make sure everything clears, and pick the other side up, make sure everything's clear, and then we'll know that we're at the spot we need to be to get the tub off this thing. So I'm going to get busy. You stand by. I'll be right back to update you in a minute here. Okay, just kidding about coming back when I had the whole body off. I want to stop and show you something really quick here, because I'm a firm believer that when somebody makes a good product, people need to talk about it. So I think if you go back and hunt around on the CJ7, as I started to take the body off there, I showed you what the body mount bushings looked like that were just the black plastic or black rubber bushings. They were really deteriorated and stuff, but this set here, so we're going down under the Jeep, so bear with me for a second. So you can see a set of the red here, and let's get a little better light on there, not without washing out too bad, but you can see those are the energy suspension bushings. So I put those on when I first got this thing, I believe, which now we know after doing the math on how long it's been since I've driven it, has got to be, it's been sitting for 18 years. I know that I probably had put those bushings on when I first got this thing, so they've got to be 28 to 30 years old, and they have held up great. Now I'll put a fresh set on as I put the new body on, because if we're going to do everything new, we're going to do it new, but I just wanted to just show you, they look really, really intact and well, in good shape. They're still doing their job. Those guys at Energy Suspension, they got their game going. So I'll be doing any place there's a bushing, I'll be doing the tie rod ends, all that stuff. Energy Suspension gets my money for all those products, because those guys have got a good product going on, and when you find a good product, you stick with it because it sticks with you over time. So just wanted to give that a shout out. And now I'm really going to take these bolts off and start working on getting this thing lifted off. So I will be back again. All right, well, I told you I'd come back when I got the tub up. So I have the tub up now. So let's have a look. We'll start around in the back here. So I've got one vent hose on the gas tank to take off, and that will be it. I've looked around everywhere, but again, let's have a look at these energy suspension bushings. You know, the washer in the center of the thing's a little rusty, but and they're just a little bit faded, but they're not crushed, they're not deteriorated. Same over here. Those things really held up well, and again, those have had to have been on this Jeep for 20 years probably. So I've looked all around under, just like we did on the other one. We got nothing hooked to the body anymore, and I have now undone my heater hoses. So those are the last two chunks up here. You can see the rest of the firewall is clean of connections. So we're draining the radiator and got those hoses off, so now I could take out the heater core, and this tub is ready to be removed. Whether it comes off in one piece or a lot of pieces, it's hard to say. So what I did is I jacked this up, and then I stuck my floor jacks, or my jack stands, up under the fender, just sitting on the tire to hold it up here. And remember, this is my rusty part, so I'm a little nervous that those are just gonna poke through and fall down, but it'll hold for now. So there it is. Tub is free of the frame, so we can get it off and get started cleaning this frame up. All right, well, I will say this. When it comes to these Jeeps projects, just take my word for it. Forget about trying to calculate how long stuff is gonna take, because you think you hit a point where you're like, ooh, this is going to be a big job, it's going to take me forever, and then it goes really well. And then sometimes you go, oh, this is a little job, like changing a shock absorber, and it takes you days. So it's still Wednesday night. I'm pretty sure when I first checked in with you, it was Wednesday night. And I was just going to get the tub disconnected from the frame. But here's a little tip. When you're getting ready to take a tub off, just know that you're going to buy a new one, and you don't have to worry about it. You can just take a Sawzall to the thing and cut that bad boy down into little bite-sized pieces, which is exactly what I did. So let's have a look here. Here we stand, a rolling chassis with no tub. The tub is off and chopped into little pieces, which I can take to the recycler soon. And now I can start working on this frame, which is, going to take some work, but I think it'll be okay. So there we are. It's Wednesday night, and this tub is gone. So one big step of the evolution complete. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I do believe this is a 21-gallon gas tank on this thing, but it's seen better days, it looks like. It's pretty rusty, so I may just do one of those bigger polyethylene ones, but I can should be able to use my existing skid plate that'll handle that thing. So there's just one chunk of this. I do have frame prep, primer, cleaner, degreaser, anti-rust stuff, all that stuff coming, and so now I'm going to be ready for it. So what I'll do next is, I'll hit the point where I back the car out, and I'll tear after a chunk of the frame and get it down to the metal and prime it and work on the next chunk and so forth. And then at some point we'll yank that motor and all the drivetrain stuff out and start working on that. So there she is. Not a bad Wednesday night's work. That's easy to say. So I'll see you next time around. Don't go anywhere, because we're just getting started on the dirty part of this thing, so it ought to be exciting. Well, hey there, it's now Thursday night, so things are progressing this week right along here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a few quick minutes, and I'm just going to kind of walk you through the major steps that I'm going to do next, partly for your help if you're following along and ripping your own Jeep apart and you want to kind of watch somebody do it, partly for me when it comes time to put this thing back together. So I'm going to I'm going to show you kind of my major planning here, and I've got my light in the one hand, so hopefully I can kind of keep this thing lit well enough to show you what's going on. But let's start with the gas tank. So as you can see, we've got the main filler hose and the vent tube there on the passenger side. And over here on the driver's side, let me just set the light down for a second so I can point. Well, that's not working too good. Okay, so anyway, so on the passenger side, what we've got is we've got the outlet tube going up through a little filter, and then what we did when we put the fuel injection on here is we put an inline fuel pump here, and then off we go. Follow this guy up here and through another fuel filter and ultimately up to the fuel injection throttle body. And then we have the other line coming back here, which is just the return line that's still in the main hard line that, you know, that was the original factory tubing. So what I'm going to do as I disconnect this is I'm going to take my return line off. See if I can get the light a little better there. So I'm just going to take the return line off and the supply line and take this end and put it back on there. So just in essence loop this around, keep that sealed up nicely. Then I have this vent, which was coming out of the side here and going up to just that breather. So I can just leave that on there. And then I've got the gas tank, you know, the fuel gauge pickup here, which I'll probably see if I can't put a little tag on that or something. And then that also had a ground, so that was just grounded right here. So really there's not much to the gas tank. There's just your sending unit for your fuel tank level and a main line and a return line, a vent to let some air in, and then this vent hose just vents back into the main filler hose, so when you're filling the thing up, the air can escape back out of there. And then we've got about 3 or 4 bolts holding the skid plate for that thing in place, which is also then supporting the tank. So it will be really interesting to see when I drop that skid plate off, or that, well, actually, you know what? That's the tank itself. There is no skid plate. That's the tank is the skid plate. So yeah, I probably will replace that tank. But anyway, so I'll drop that down and I'll have it all sealed up, and I can just take it out there in the Jeep graveyard out on the side of the house. So that gets me back to muffler system and exhaust system. So it wasn't very elegant. It's pretty new, but kind of just a standard, you know, shop did that, and they just put the thing together as quick as they can, and they just hang it with these rubber adapter hanger things, which doesn't look too cool and doesn't look too symmetrical in my mind, so might have to do something about that. So if we continue on up here, we're going to go up the driver's side. So bear with me here, I'm getting tangled up in the cable and my power cord. So we had a lot of cable for the fuel pump, and right now it's just kind of zip stripped to the thing. Ooh, we almost cut through something there. Anyway, it's almost zip stripped. It's just kind of zip stripped up here to the old gas lines. So we'll cut that loose and get rid of it this so you can see where these old gas lines were capped off here. The park brake cable is this guy, and I just cut that and got it out when I was cutting the frame off because I don't know what, I'm probably going to redo the back brakes anyway and go with disc brakes back there, so probably may have a different emergency brake setup anyway. So then if we continue forward, we're going to get up into the engine area up here, and this is a mess right now, but it's not that scary. So a lot of, you know, wire loom and stuff, but this is the, you know, pretty long cabling for the Holly projection system. So that's okay, we can get rid of that. We got, you know, the remnants of the painless wiring kit here, which needs to be finished, but you can see what they do is they wire or they label everything. So this just, you know, is stuff that's not hooked up yet. So I think what I'll be able to do is basically disconnect that, get it off of here. And then, like I said, I've got some degreaser coming, so I can degrease this thing and start taking it apart. These headers, I put those on, I'm pretty sure when I got this Jeep, I'm not too impressed with how well they've held up. But I have seen, since I've started kind of looking at stuff, some that hug the block a little closer, so probably will maybe change those out as we go. And kind of tear into it. So there's that. That is a BorgWarner T18 transmission, I believe. And now I thought that was a Model 300 transfer case, but now I got the other one out. I don't think it is. So if we look here, we've got the plates on it that identify it down in there. So I'll get those identified and we'll know what we got. My cross member under there has a hole in it, rusted through it. So we'll do a new cross member. We'll probably look into getting one from those guys up in Montana that I was looking at getting the frame for the CJ7 from, because they got a nice looking one with, you know, it's kind of built with tubing and heavy plates. So anyway, that's kind of from the back working forward a little bit. You know, we'll obviously be able to drop the drive shaft out really easy now, and transfer case, take it off, transmission, take it off. We'll put a new clutch in as we do this, and we'll figure out what we're doing with that motor. If we're just, my guess is probably gonna do a short block there or something to get that to be a new fresh motor. And then, you know, suspension, and man, there's just, this is what a Jeep is. You can see down underneath there, here again is my energy suspension dudes. So there's another energy suspension bushing under the transmission, which is probably in really good shape. I always felt like this transmission or transfer case needed a twin stick setup if it could get one, because when I was running, I had, before I put the ARB locker in the back here, I had a Detroit locker. So it was kind of a mechanical locker, and it was always locked up all the time. It would kind of click as you went around a corner and whatnot. But two things I didn't like about it. First of all, you got a whole bunch of torque steer when you jumped on the throttle on the pavement. You got a lot of torque steer out of the thing, and sometimes you'd just change lanes before you even knew what was going on, whether you wanted to or not. So that's why we did the ARB, so that this is now an open differential, except for when we lock it ourselves. However, when I was four-wheeling this with the back end locked up, I hardly ever really needed the front end, you know. So I would run around when we'd be four-wheeling down in Moab and stuff. I could kind of wiggle these around, and I guess you can see as the linkage is shaking all around in there why I was able to do it. But I was able to kind of get it into four low, but not get the front axle all the way engaged. In fact, let's walk over there, and I bet I can see why that was happening. So if we look at this, so I believe that was four low, but I could kind of put it in four low, and then you see how just one of my actuator arms is moving. There's two. So one of them engages the front axle, and the other one puts it in four low. So I could kind of do that, see, and get one of those to move without the other one to go. And so I could kind of jury rig the thing into being in four low, but not have the front axle engaged, because the front axle's got a lock-right locker in it. So with the back end locked up, I could go anywhere I needed to go until I got to really nasty stuff, and then one more pop of the lever and we'd have the front end engaged, and then we'd really be unstoppable. So anyway, I may do, well, we'll figure out what we're going to do with that transfer case, but I'm going to see if there's not a dual stick setup like they do on the other version, the one that's in the CJ7, or who knows, maybe we'll steal that one and put it here. But anyway, so there we have it. And again, I think I mentioned I've ordered some stuff from that eastwood.com that is water-based degreaser that they say you can just paint right after you're done with it. It doesn't leave any residue on there. It's okay for the environment and all that stuff. So obviously we got some degreasing to do, and I think we probably have, if we were to really get into that motor, we probably have a rear seal going out of it because of all the oil we're getting out of the back here. So anyway, there we go. That's what we're gonna do when the next time you see me. Again, don't worry about this rat's nest of wiring, because once I get all this out, it is wiring, but you can see every one of these wires has this label from Painless Wiring of what it is supposed to be. So, you know, it's just messy right now, but we can deal with messy for a minute, because it's just going to be messy for a minute until we start taking it apart. And once we get the wiring harness out of the way, then we're back down to just a V8 with, you know, a distributor and some spark plug wires. I do not know what happened to these spark plug wires that are ripped off of the thing, but you know, we'll deal with that, so not a big deal. So there's not much to these Jeeps once you get them torn apart. If you're really looking at your own Jeep and wondering, you know, could you do this as well? If you follow along with me, I think you'll find that it's not that scary, you know, once you start getting into these things. So have faith. If I can do it, you can do it. Now, again, I haven't got anything put back together yet. So no guarantees I can do it, but we'll see. Hopefully in a few months' time, we'll be starting to put this thing back together. And by spring or shortly after, I'm gonna have this bad boy back out on the road and be driving it around. So we'll see how that goes. So anyway, you can do it, I can do it. I'm gonna keep you, posted, and we'll walk through the various steps I do as I do this, just so you can kind of see what's all involved, and hopefully this will help you keep your own project Jeep rolling. So thanks for watching again. I got more to do, so I'm gonna wrap it up for right now, and I'll come back in later and get in a little bit further in here. But tonight I just wanted to walk down here. I don't have the furnace on or the heat on in the garage or anything, but just wanted to kind of do a little planning on my own and kind of show you what I'm thinking of and planning out as I go through this process. So that's it for now. I'll catch you later.